Me and Kosi Polo, we come a long way. I'll support his initiatives. He's always supported me. I was his Secretary General for 8.5 years. He's the man who every time, every opportunity he had, will actually acknowledge the good that I'm doing for the party. He will always encourage me. That's why I've never really felt it's fair for me to be, how do I put it? For people to think that you cannot relate. So yeah, I want to relate, including him, Ramesses. I know it will get to that point.
Yeah.
But as a leader, always be prepared. Be prepared to be in the firing line. Be prepared to be thrown in deep waters. Be prepared to be thrown everywhere. So it's very important, but I'm so excited. No, I'm going to sleep properly because that wish was from the heart. Happened. I really wanted to engage with you. Is that okay? Good.
One last one. But there are some people, maybe within your party, who believe so. This move, yeah, to be like actually you're going to risk
Division. No. Then it will be very undesirable elements. It will be very undesirable elements in that reconciliation, both to Tsarahano. There's no one who would want to run an organization where there's no unity. And also, we should know, very, very important, that what we are pursuing, Karisano, Boto, Nelano, Tsarahano, is who we are. That's why I narrated what actually happened in the first instance when you now brought in the political leadership as opposed to when the chiefs were leading our tribes. So you can see that we have just borrowed from the fabric of who we are and have to now take it to politics. But politics now wants to deviate increasingly because they've got the powers. They want to deviate from who we are. So I'm saying, let's have this thing balanced. Let's always know, first as leaders, that we are Botswana first. We have to live up to our values and our principles. That's why. Before now we become politics. You understand? Sorry, politicians. Politics should not define who we are. What defines us is first that we are Botswana. Very critical.
Democrats, I believe before you took on as the president, the party already necessarily for the crack.
Yes. One would say
that. Maybe you like to point out now a message outside Botswana now.
To break or to destroy is very easy. And to rebuild is very difficult. And we are talking about people who have been in power, who are used to the proximity of power and being in control for 58 years. You can imagine a 50-year-old person is a person that you cannot dictate or, start doing this, start doing that. So it's a very, very, very delicate shift. So we need to balance it. Much as we have to be very focused and rebuild, we also at the same time have to be aware that we are dealing with people who have been used to being in power, who have been used to being, in control. So that's what we will try to build going forward. We are not going to be harsh about it, but we are going to instill discipline. We are going to instill the values and the principles of the Biri. And nobody is going to stop me from reconciling with those that I want to reconcile with, and that those which the party has to reconcile with. So I'll do it until the cows come home.
For the response to Bangwato, was it what you guys anticipated?
No. In fact, as I was sitting there, the former president, Kosi Polo, said he's full. It's like he doesn't want to go and eat because he heard from both sides. He's satisfied, basically. I was feeling the same way. I just wanted these people to keep on talking. As they were doing it, it was a therapy for me. The realization that if you don't watch the space, Botswana can just be another African country. So as we're listening to those people, I was shocked. And looking at the elderly people, looking at their faces, their expressions, the suffering that you just see from within. The suffering from, there's a difference from somebody who has a headache and somebody who is really hurt from within. So I could see it very clearly. And it actually gave me some other ideas of how you should be dealing with people, I think we should start now promoting this thing throughout the country, healing process from relationships. That's why you have GBV and many other things. They emanate from this kind of things. You understand? Right now, I don't know how to classify here. Do you classify it as GBV? No. But it's something that is abuse of, I don't know. You understand? So we need to now start finding each other. We need to start looking for each other all around, emotionally, physically, and everything else. So I think, now for me, this was the most successful. Ever since in my 56 years of being in the world, this to me has taught me something totally different. That you could be anything, you could be everything until you get to see the other side of life. And it showed me that we are different. I don't know who can orchestrate and plan to abuse people like that. We are so different. And we have to appreciate ourselves like that.
The other thing is,
No, I was shocked by how people can just sit and plan this kind of evil. You understand? Where you say, this is an elderly person. You know, naturally when you see an elderly person, what do? You know, you just want to humble yourself. But if somebody sees an elderly person and is over Shambo, then definitely you are totally different people in this world. And you have to learn. And people should not just think it's just in Serowe. If it's not attended to, very soon it will be elsewhere.
But you were there when it happened.
No, I was not in Serowe.
When you were there, when it happened.
Believe you me.
Pictures were there.
No. The pictures don't tell as many words as the story that I've had. You understand? That's why I said I admitted. The reason why I apologized is because I knew what was happening. I've seen it. Remember I said my grandmother is from Serowe. I could hear them. But I'd never had testimonies, individual testimonies. It was a collective of people saying, and this is what happened, isn't it? So some people were beaten and all that. But now you get to see a real person, an elderly person, a 78-year-old person being jailed and subjected to all manner of abuse. So for me, I wouldn't say, that's why I said I own everything, because it was the government of the BDP. You understand? And I insisted. Even if they wanted to pick one or two people from the crowd to say, come and answer for the things that you have said, I said, no, we are not going to do that. I'm here as a father, and I have to carry the good, the bad, and the ugly, and be responsible for everything that happened within the BDP. That's leadership. Thank you.
President, when you talk about as the opposition now, there are some critics who sort of
Remember, now we are who we are. The opposition is those that don't agree with us.
the BDP, as the BDP.
Oh, okay.
You guys were the technocrats through your experience being in government and doing the whole lot. But your voice is silent for a
You know, there's what you call moral high ground. Morals, okay? If you steal, or you do something, or you kill a person, and you are rehabilitated, you go to jail, you go through this process, and the moment you get out of jail, you tell people that killing other people is so bad and all that, before they realize the kind of person you are. You don't have a moral high ground to be able to criticize people. You should listen to people. And what I'm happy about is that what people are now beginning to say, they really get to see that being in government, being in leadership is not easy. So it's Botswana now who are beginning to say, Mpho Balopi, this is what is happening. Now we can come in and say, okay, fine. We know we have done things differently. We know you are complaining about things, but we can see what is happening. Not that you are comparing the good, actually the bad with the worst. We are just saying people should start now realizing that it's not very easy to be in government and to manage the resources and do other things in government. And it's difficult right now. That's why you find people out of nowhere praising the other people who they've been complaining about. It's something that you really have to worry about, as Botswana. Now, think about politics differently. Think about what Botswana needs. Not what BDP needs, what BNF or whoever needs, what you want. You should start dictating what you want so that you can toe the line. But I'm very happy that Botswana now know that we can change government. You see, but also they know there are consequences. So they have to go with at times experience, a whole lot of it, but also changing the way that experience thinks. So now we are very prepared. And now I'm not going to be deterred. I'm not into petty politics of naming and doing whatever to people. I'm concerned about what the country needs. And most importantly, I'm concerned about shaping people and shaping human beings. You know, you always talk about infrastructure, like roads, schools, and everything, but you never talk about this infrastructure. Because if you have people who don't respect other people's properties or whatever that happens, and then you build those beautiful things, they're going to destroy them, they're going to steal this, they're going to do whatever. So you need to mold and build a human being at the same time as you are building and developing the country. Very critical. Thank you.
The last one.
Yes.
For the Rand lady spoke out this forensic which had now all of a sudden is PDP's banker race is a national right issue. Now of recent, that's not thought to have your name
it's expected. It's very expected.
To the house and so forth.
70 million.
Are you under,
And I
I
wanted them to, whoever valued my house at 70 million, I wanted him to buy it as quickly as they could so that I can have a lot of money as change. You know what, look, you should see through politics and see through, and we started it even ourselves when we were in government. Once somebody is impactful or is causing some uncertainties in as far as others are concerned, you will start seeing this kind of things. Can anyone follow you? You are not a politician. You don't have much influence over anybody. Maybe you have influence over your camera, so they just leave you with your camera in your space. Change tomorrow and be a politician and go and have a massive rally with the youth and just start seeing what this guy now has a following. You'll hear. You'll steal something.
always look for something.
Always. And it's bad. Because these people, unfortunately, my children are old enough to see what's going on. You can imagine people who are trying to bring up children, and all of a sudden they know you are daddy at home, and when they look at newspapers, you are a thief. That destroys them. And kids at school, they start asking them, so your father, that car that you came here with, you stole it. And they say it innocently, and that destroys children. And years later, you are shocked by the rate of drug abuse, how children now are in the streets, they can't even identify who they are. And it's us adults who actually plant that seed.
Yeah, but what you say, you guys were right. Nobody criticized you as much as the current government. They are 8 months down the line already.
No, they are criticizing themselves. Actually, they came and said there's no money. They never told anybody that they're looking for money. They said they are going to what? Run government. And when you run government, and the president of the current government and most of his cabinet, they are former members of parliament. They were appropriating money. Some of them were actually being presented with the Bank of Botswana statements. Some of them were reading in terms of the allocation. And besides the budget speech, we have what you call Committee of Supply in Parliament. Committee of Supply is about detail, to say you are going to build a classroom there. And actually when you do the Committee of Supply, you talk about your previous expenditure, both development and recurrent, and what you are going to do going forward. It's so detailed. So there's no one who can then, all of a sudden, who can say there's no money, if he's a serious leader. You should have changed a month or two before elections. You should have checked the financials and everything else and do your projections, because you are ready to lead, to be able to project to Botswana and show them that actually there's no money. You want government to come in and create opportunities for money. They should bring new ideas. They should not just complete the projects and bring the visitors who have come here before. Bring new ideas. Develop the SMMEs. Start talking about markets. Start talking about the development of youth, real development of youth. You understand? Because if you are going to develop malls, if you go to Tanzania, Mozambique, it's very difficult to find a mall. What is there is markets, because people are there trading, manufacturing at SMME level. But Botswana, our growth in terms of SMMEs is very small. Personally, I've always advocated for that. But unfortunately, now I have the voice that when you go forward, I'll be able to advocate for the growth of SMMEs and the middle class in general.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes.